Hello and welcome to my first YouTube video. My name's Matt and I'm from Techcation.com. Today I want to teach you a little bit about HTML in its most raw form. I'm a little underdressed for what I normally prepare, and my studio is not complete yet, so this is the room that I'm currently remodeling in my house, so that's where the video gets to be shot from. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is the most basic kind of web development. So that's the direction that you want to go if you want to learn how to make your posts on MySpace and your blog or your own website more interesting. You use HTML. One great thing about learning HTML is that as you learn, your pages will look better and better and better, and they're out there for the world to see, and there's something that you can be proud of. You know, everybody can see that you learned to build your own web pages. And if you're watching this and you have no clue what you're doing, this might be the start of something big. This might be your career. Heck, it's turned out to be a pretty lucrative career for me. As far as my background in HTML, basically I went to college in 2000 maybe. I learned HTML to start with. I've been writing websites ever since. I own probably 25, 29, 30 domains, somewhere in that area. And some of those are contracted, and I write code for other people. I have also had several jobs where I write HTML in combination with upper level languages that tie into HTML, such as ASP, ASP.NET, and all those other great things that you can learn as you go along. But HTML is the 101. It's the starting point. It's where you begin to learn how to write pages. Another great thing about HTML is that it doesn't require any special software. You don't have to have a special web server to test your own work. Now, obviously, to display it to the world, you're going to need some kind of server to get it out there to people, and maybe, to connect a domain name to it and all that great stuff that you can do with HTML. But for starters, to build up your own site, to get started, all you need is a computer with access to Notepad and Explorer. And of course I'm doing that in a Windows reference. I don't know what the Mac equivalent to Notepad is, and offhand I don't remember what the Linux reference is as well, but I know they both have them and it's the same deal. It's very easy. It's just text-based. Just instead of ending the extension with .txt, you're going to end the extension with .html. So when you open up Notepad and you save this document wherever you're going to save it on your machine, instead of ending it, mypage.txt, you're going to name it mypage.html. HTML is a tag-based language. So what happens is basically everything that's code that the user doesn't see that does something important is in what we call a tag. A tag is similar. It starts with a less than sign, then usually contains some text, or I should say always contains some text. That's a little important for a tag to have some kind of meaning. This particular tag is the HTML tag. It's the first tag in most web pages. Actually, it should always be the first tag in your web page unless you've got a comment above there. But this is your first tag. This tells the web browser that, hey, this is HTML code, so it knows how to interpret it. It doesn't think that, hey, this is XML or some other crazy language out there. It's HTML, so it knows that it can open it. This is an opening tag. An opening tag basically just has the less than and greater sign and something inside of it. And that starts a section. As I said, it told the web browser that, hey, this is some HTML code's going to be in here. Well, the HTML tag should also close. We'll do that down here. So down here, this little slash, which is actually a backslash, I always get those confused, but the slash down here represents, hey, we're closing, we're done with HTML code now. So you might actually have some text underneath here and stuff that it'll be really screwy if you did that. Normally you don't, everything HTML's in between here. But this tells the browser, hey, start reading HTML. Hey, we're done writing HTML to you. So you see it. We start out with HTML and we end with HTML. Every tag that we open, we always close it. There are some exceptions to the rule. We might have something like a break tag, and instead of having the closing slash at the beginning, it has it at the end, and it just says, hey, let's do this, execute this right now. And what that particular tag does is basically a return. It's the same as pressing return in a text file. Going back to our original plan here, we have our opening HTML tag and our closing HTML tag. So now there's two sections, subsections of a standard HTML document. One is the head, which we're going to use an opening head tag and a closing head tag. And two is the body. If you look at this, you'll notice that I indented a little bit. All white space in an HTML document is pretty much ignored. So after the first space, it acknowledges that there's a space after this HTML tag. It doesn't care that I'm going to hit return when I'm entering in the computer, and I hit tab before I enter this one to give it space in. Basically, if a tag's inside of another one, it's good to add space so you can tell. I don't always do it between the HTML, the head tag, and the body tag. A lot of times I leave that, left justified. But anything inside the body should definitely be tabbed in, and other tags might be nested in each other, so it goes to show. The head section is special. It's not always seen by the user. It loads a lot of variables, environment variables. In here we could put stuff like what our background colors are going to be, what colors our links are going to be. We might link it to external files that do that. They're called style sheets. There's lots of things we can do from the head, but it's not really what the user sees in the page. As far as when you look at a web page and think of as a web page, you have a little top section and whatever, and a bunch of text and pictures, whatever you may see in a web page, that stuff's all down in the body. That's the body section. The head's more preloaded stuff. It might tell the Google bot that categorizes websites how to categorize this site, but it doesn't necessarily always output stuff to the user. The one somewhat exception to the rule is the title tag, which is going to open and close. We'll say my page for this example. Okay, now I wrote in a title tag, title, and then a closing title. Inside that title tag, I call this is inside the tag. This is the text that goes inside. Inside the tag, I put my page. Now my page is what you're going to see in the very up left column in the blue section above your menu actually. It's going to say my page there, and I'll show you that in a little bit when I flip over to the computer view. But for now, let's just know that the title is the very top title of your web page when you open up the page in Explorer. So it's the very uppermost blue part of the Explorer. Now anything we put in the body down here is what you're going to see in your page. So this is the basic layout that you're always going to have when you do web design. It's important to remember. I can spit this out in a second. A lot of people, what they do is they write this once and they save it as a template until they know what they're doing, and then they just resave that template out as other pages. That way you can just come in, highlight my page, type in your new page title, highlight hello, and just start typing a new web page in there. And because this is what the user is going to see as we remember. So let's go ahead and take a view of how this looks on the machine and go from there.